Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sulky Show special, the programme that likes to promote harness racing in GB and Ireland. And we're focusing across the channel. It is the Prix d'Amérique, arguably the world's greatest trotting race. It takes place at Vincennes this coming Sunday afternoon. And here to preview the 101st renewal of this great trotting race, I have got, now I've got to get your surname right. It's Fabien, is it?
Caillé? Caillé. Oh, it's perfect. Fabien, it's perfect.
Well,
hello, Darren. Hello, everybody.
Bonsoir, Fabien.
Bonsoir. Bonsoir à tous. Bonsoir, l'Angleterre.
And let me just introduce you. You are a leading French trotting journalist. Now, have I got this right? You work for, or you're a director for Provence Course?
Yes, and 24-hour a trot.
24-hour a trot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
24 heures au trot. Exactly.
Well, look, I mean, look at this. We've gone to the top. We've gone to the top for our guidance this year. We have got the one and only Dan Carlin, journalist for the Irish racing field and bookmaker. How are you, Dan?
Je vais très bien. I'm okay.
And I believe you've got press accreditation for the weekend at Vincennes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been for 3 or 4 years. Last time I was there, the Chestnut Mare won Elena Jocelyn. So I'm looking forward to going this year and taking in the big event, although it's a pity the crowd is down slightly.
And we have got the one and only Sarah Thomas. And you've got a valid excuse for your non-participation this weekend, Sarah.
Yes, I know. I was actually contacted by Steve Wolf back in August from Harness Link, and he emailed me and he said, we're planning on going to the Prix d'Amérique again in 2022. Do you want to come along as a photographer for us again? And at the time, I hadn't gone public with the fact that I was pregnant. So I replied and said, really sorry, Steve, not going to be able to make it. Hope you have a really nice time. And within a couple of days, I told everybody, and he contacted me straight away and he said, now I know like why you can't go. He said, it was so strange. I thought you'd bite my hand off. And any other circumstances, I would be there. But 8.5 months pregnant is a fairly good reason to not be traveling to a foreign country and then getting really excited during a massive horse race. So yeah. I have to do this one, but I will be aiming to be back for next year, definitely.
You can't get excited, and I've got a valid excuse as well. I won't show you the scar, but I had a hernia operation 2 days ago, so I'm on the sidelines for 2 weeks.
Well,
so we're gonna have to sit it out and watch it here. We'll watch from Britain.
Yeah,
Darren and Sarah, I'm a bit disappointed because we did a feature in the Irish field about a fortnight ago about a leading figure in British trotting, and this guy John Mingus, he actually won Musselburgh with a mare called Eastwood Limelight, and she won Musselburgh when she was in foal. So I don't see any reason why Sarah can't go to the Prix d'Amérique if she's pregnant.
Yeah, but you've not seen how I react around horse racing. Honestly, the last time I was there, I was running up and down the racetrack getting chased by a French security guard. That's highly inappropriate in my condition. And I just stay at home.
So, Fabien, first of all, we have got the crowds back this year. Not the crowds we're accustomed to greeting at Vincennes, but we have got a small crowd this year.
Yes, just a small, because it's okay for 5,000 people. Normally, this is 40,000 or maybe 35,000 people. So it's not so bad, because remember last year it was a closed doors situation, so it's not so bad. 5,000 this year. It's just quite a frustration for a lot of fans in France, because 3 days later, all the stadiums and the racecourses will be open without maximum. So it's quite a frustration, but it's like that, and 5,000 is not so bad.
Well, it's better than nothing, but I say it is rather frustrating. And of course, this week we had the big news, the bombshell about Facetime Bourbon out of the Prix d'Amérique, and sadly the end of his racing career.
Yes, that's right. It was really a huge news. It was like an earthquake here in France, and for all the trotting fans. For Sebastian Garato, it wasn't a surprise. He explained that his trainer, Sebastian Garato, he explained that this is something he knew for a long time ago, but it was okay. So the horse did his best with this thing. Was something not so, it was minor in the past, but now it's too important, and it was impossible to see him on the racecourse Sunday. And more than that, as you said, this is the end of his career. What a career! What a champion! What an exceptional champion! He has all the records in Vincennes on the two main tracks, on the two main distances, and it's unbelievable to imagine Prix d'Amérique without him. But maybe we need to understand for the horses too. It's impossible to go so fast and to be always in a good form. And maybe the champion of the future will be a champion for 3 or maximum 4 years. We'll see that in the future. But they're going so fast. Imagine, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, these top class horses, they give everything, don't they? And will he be remembered as a great champion?
Yes, he wasn't so popular in the main sense of the term, because for a lot of people, he was so unbeatable that in France sometimes we like the losers and the outsiders. I don't know if you know the cyclist, the famous cyclist in France. This is a Poulidor. Poulidor finished always second, and he was the star of the field in the cyclism. And today, this is a word it's possible to say every day. You are the Poulidor. This is in the commune language to talk about a loser finally, because when you're second, you didn't win, and so. Yes, it wasn't really popular, but a lot of respect for him. A lot of respect for him, of course, and for his results. But he wasn't the star.
Right. Now we're going to have a new champion, and the question on everyone's lips is, who is going to be that new champion, Fabien?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe you have a good answer. Sarah, Dan, you, Darren, I don't know. We have a lot of horses. This is a good thing. We have Sunday 18 runners, so we know we have one winner for the Prix d'Amérique 2022. But who is he? I don't know. I have a lot of respect for Onek, Philippe Allaire stable, but we don't know. The next champion, like Facetime Bourbon, I think we have to wait, because he finished only once something somewhere else than in the first two places. Sorry. So imagine it will be difficult to do something like him.
You mentioned Honek there, who has recorded 3 straight wins, but would Honek's age be against him? He's a young horse.
He's a young horse, yes. He hadn't run against Facetime Bourbon, but he has a lot of maneuverability. He has a lot of speed. He's trained by one of the best trainer in France, Philippe Allaire, who didn't win the Prix d'Amérique for a lot of reasons, but this is the man of Ready Cash. But Ready Cash was trained by Thierry Duval d'Estaing when Ready Cash won the Prix d'Amérique twice. But he's the man of Ready Cash. He's the first trainer. He's the breeder. He's the owner. But he wasn't the trainer when Ready Cash won the Prix d'Amérique. And for the story, or the little story, Ready Cash was beaten in the Prix d'Amérique by Royal Dream, who is the father of Onek. And for Philippe Allaire, it's really, really, really important to support his stallions, and Royal Dream is absolutely not his stallions. And if he decided to come on the Prix d'Amérique with Honeck, I think he has he's quite sure to be able to win the race. It's not just to support the stud, it's not just to support the stallion. I think he's sure to have the capacity to win the race with Royal Dream son. Royal Dream was the one of the most important rival of Ready Cash.
Now you've been watching, I'm sure, all the big races, all the qualifying races since November. So I'm getting the impression, just listening to you, that Honeck would be on the shortlist.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, one horse that I was taken with watching some of the footage from recent weeks and months was Etienne, who won last year's Prix de Paris and beat Facetime Bourbon in one of the qualifying races. What can you tell me about Etienne?
Do you know what étonnant means in French?
Go on.
This is surprising.
Surprising.
Surprising. Étonnant, it means surprising in English. So it was really surprising when he was able to win and to beat Facetime Bourbon in the qualifications. I have just a doubt about this race. Was this race a Prix d'Amérique before the Prix d'Amérique? Maybe.
Right.
That was
and it's maybe it's just a coincidence, but Facetime Bourbon after that is over, is finished.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too soon in the season because it was two races like that. The first qualification and the second qualification. The times were absolutely amazing. It was Prix d'Amérique times twice in 3 weeks.
The only thing, Fabien, you have to say in favor of Etienne was in the qualifier where Etienne, I think Facetime Bourbon beat Etienne first and then Etienne reversed the placings. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, but on the second occasion, Facetime Bourbon got first run, as we say in English. He got first run on Etienne, and Etienne had to come round Facetime Bourbon. It's a big achievement to give Facetime Bourbon 2 or 3 lengths in the straight and then pass him. So you have to respect that run.
Yes, that's right. But maybe it was too strong.
Sarah, have you been watching the qualifiers closely?
I'd be lying if I said I had. I spoke to my mum about doing this tonight, and I said I've not done anywhere near enough research, really, just with other commitments that have been going on. And she said, "Don't worry, you'll bluff your way through it." And I thought, well, I've been doing that for most of my life with everything else. So, and I'm about to do it on a massive scale shortly. So I've done a little bit of research tonight, done a bit of reading into it. I mean, there's no point me reinventing the wheel. There are that many people that have got an opinion on the runners in the race. If you just do a little bit of a quick search online, you can find plenty of commentary on some of the sort of main protagonists. Fabien mentioned there the age of Honeck. Oh, sorry, you mentioned it, Darren, the age of Honeck. 2 years ago, we had the same kind of concerns over Facetime Bourbon in the race. I can remember talking about how, he was a young upstart coming into it. There were aged horses with more experience. Could he handle that level of competition against aged horses that have got more experience? And it turned out that he could. So I wouldn't necessarily hold that against him. Fabien said there, quite, connections obviously feel he's with a pretty strong chance. It's not just a case of trying to race in these races for the sake of mentality or anything like that. There's obviously, method and the madness with it, with having a young horse like that. They obviously think he's capable of taking on those more experienced horses. Many of these horses I saw racing in the flesh 2 years ago. I've got to mention Davison DuPont. I'm a big fan of his. I was a big fan of Facetime Bourbons. I know we're talking about perhaps he's not that popular, Facetime Bourbon, or wasn't that popular in France, perhaps because they prefer the underdog, which is there's a big British thing as well. We like the underdog in races, but I was a big Facetime Bourbon fan after I saw him in the flesh. And supported him last year as well. But Davison DuPont is a horse that I really, really like. Gu de Harip as well. I apologise to anybody in France.
Gu de Prix.
There we go. I'm not even going to try and repeat that again, but Gu we'll go with. Obviously, he was third last year as well, so I think he, probably deserves a mention in this lineup as well. It's a massively wide open race. The minute you take out a horse that people really kind of strongly fancy, everybody suddenly thinks, well, we're really in with a chance here. You've taken out your major competitors. It's unfortunate the circumstances, but for somebody, it's opened a door. There's people that actually are taking horses on Sunday night race that maybe thought, we've got to try and beat this horse. Now they don't have to beat that horse. Yes, they've still got to beat 17 others, but it's become such a wide open race. I've seen a lot of talk on social media with trotting fans here in the UK. They've started to talk about what's your fancy, who are you betting, where are you watching, sort of thing. And there's a lot of names getting thrown around. So I wouldn't put my weight behind any particular horse at the moment, because I think I've got it narrowed down to about 9. So maybe by the end of this show, I'll maybe have it narrowed down to something like a more reasonable 3, perhaps, if you guys keep talking and I keep taking it all in. But at the moment, Davison Dupont, I kind of have to stick with a little bit. And like I say, I wouldn't be too afraid of Honek's age being a massive factor, because I do think that sometimes that youth can go in favour of a horse.
You're talking about age, Sarah, and you're talking about Davison Dupont. I have to say something about Davison Dupont. Davison Dupont is driven by Nicolas Bazir. He's not Jean-Michel Bazir. He's not the superstar. He's not the king of the world, the champion of the world, and of the planet, and all what you think about trotting world. It's not Jean-Michel Bazir. It's his son, Nicolas, and Nicolas is only 22. And imagine, just before the start of the Prix d'Amérique, 18 runners, 18 drivers, and the young man just in the middle of the field with a lot of pressure. He's the son of Jean-Michel Bazir. He has maybe the best horse in his hand, because he finished second last year. He finished second 2 years ago. Ooh la la, I think a lot of pressure on his young shoulder. It's not the shoulder of his father. This is the shoulder of young Nicolas Bazir. And if he wins the Prix d'Amérique, he will become the youngest driver in the story. 22. He's only 22-year-old. So it's really important to take this information with Davison Dupont for Sunday.
He's obviously a very popular horse, Fabien, Davison Dupont, because as you say, he's finished second in the race the last 2 years. He's one of those nearly horses. And how unlucky was he recently when he I thought he was going to win the race. He just galloped in the straight when Fado 7 went on to win the race. But surely Davison Dupont would have won that day.
Yes, but it was Nicolas on the Sulky. And after the race, just after the finish line, Jean-Michel Bazir, who won the race with Fado 7, who could be a really interesting outsider in this race this year, was really, really, really unhappy with his son. He said, you did that once, but not twice. It's finished. You have to take your horse in your hands, and it's finished. It was just once, but it's finished. I don't want to see you doing that another time. He was really, really, really hungry. Yet hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I hope it was a good lesson for Nicolas. But maybe it's more pressure for him in the same time. So I don't know. But you're right. He was the winner of the race. But the rule is to trot until the finish line.
And I mean, Dan, you follow the betting. I mean, Dan, Fabien, how's the betting going for this race?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Darren?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Just have been having sound problems at my end, so I've missed some of what Fabien and Sarah and yourself have been saying. But interesting thing is, myself and McCartan Bet, my partners, strictly speaking, we're not working on the race on Sunday. We did try to drum up some interest last year, and there wasn't much response. So I'll be in Paris watching the race, probably working for the Irish field. So I'd probably not be taking bets on the race. But I did some research knowing I was coming on to this call tonight. And at the minute, Bet365 are betting on the race. Now, Bet365 bet 13-4, which is slightly better than 3-1 about Etonok. And then Davison DuPont is on the drift. He's gone out to 5-1. After that, there's some great value in the race. You know, you can bet Fido 7 at 9-1. You can bet Honek at 9-1. Guy de Herdepre 11-1. Power, I think he's by Tomoko. He's 24-1. And so on. Zakon Gio, Bjorn Goops Drive 9-1. Vivid As, driven by Matthew Ablivard, he's 24-1. And the mare that I always love, Bahia Quesno, she's the absolute rag. She's about 49-1. These are our Bet365 prices as of this afternoon. So there's some good value. One thing about the French betting is there's plenty of value for people and plenty of each way value.
And Fabien, locally, how's the betting going locally on the race?
It's really open, but at the moment, Étonnant is the favorite, just in front of Davidson Dupont in France. But you know, we have to wait Paris Mutuel of Sunday. But this is the first indication. Étonnant, and sorry, we didn't talk about maybe the winner because it's so open that this is Flamme du Goutier. Flamme du Goutier won like a champion last week the Prix de Cornulier. This is the Monte races, the Monte race, and she was amazing. And she's a daughter of Ready Cash. She's the only product of Ready Cash in the race, and she's absolutely talented with a sulky. She's not a specialist of Monte race. She's really polyvalent. And she was really amazing last week with an easy race. It was like a prep for her. So be careful with Flamme du Goutier. But Flamme du Goutier is driven not by the father, but by the son. It's not the Bazir family. This is the Duval d'Estaing family now. And so this is exactly the same story with a young driver, with Théo Duval d'Estaing, only 24. And a lot of pressure for him too. So I would like just to say maybe this is a driver's race. And if it's a driver race, we have to talk about Jean-Michel Bazir, Fedo 7, Björn Goop, Zakon Gio, Mathieu Abrivard, Vivid Waisas, because Honek is driven by François Lagadec. François Lagadec, I think around the world, nobody knows François Lagadec, but he's in the top 10, top 15, top 20 in France since 2 or 3 years, but he's not Jean-Michel Bazir or Björn Goop or Jos Verbeek in the past for the moment. And the young drivers have a lot of responsibilities someday.
So basically, you've got drivers in the Prix d'Amérique on Sunday having their first drive in the big race.
This is the case for Théo Duval d'Estaing. This is not the case for Nicolas Bazir, the driver of Davidson Dupont. Last year, he was with Valakaya Indo, no chance, but this is an experience, the first experience for him. So this is the second Prix d'Amérique for Nicolas Bazir. This is the first one for Théo Duval d'Estaing, and for someone like François Lagadec, the driver of Honek, this is the first time with a huge chance. It's always the same thing. It's possible to be there just somewhere in the middle of the field and you're just here. But he has a huge chance now. He has a first chance in the end, and it's absolutely different.
I was talking about Flamme de Goutier. I did my research, and the last horse to win the Prix de Cornulier and then go on to win the Prix d'Amérique was Jacques de Bellouet.
Remember Jag, yes, the cannibal, Jacques de Bellouet. Absolutely different race, different horse. It was so strong. It was like a monster. Flamme du Goutier, she's like a a dancer, a cabaret dancer. She's absolutely nice. She's really fine. Yes, different, absolutely different horse, because the speciality of Monte is really different now and is improving a lot. And now it's possible to win the Prix de Cornulier, 700,000 euros race.
Well,
with an harness horse, no problem at all.
and what about the interest outside France this year? Horses from other countries racing in the Prix d'Amérique. Which horses are we looking at from other countries?
The Italy is really important in the trotting world, you know. And this year, the boss in Italy and in Europe, this is Alessandro Gocciadoro. And Alessandro Gocciadoro has two runners, Vitruvio, no chance for me, but he has Vivid Wise Ass. And the manager of the owner, Écurie Bivens, Scuderia Bivens, who is the owner of Facetime Bourbon, talked to me since 6 or 7 months. Fabien, remember, we have two Vivid Wise Ass in the Prix d'Amérique this year. Remember that 6-7 months ago. So this is the target, and Alessandro Gocciadoro, when he has a target in his mind, be careful. So if you're looking for an outsider, Vivid Wise Ass with Mathieu Abrivard, a lot of people are saying that he's better on a shorter distance. It's true, and the Prix de France could be a better race for him, but it's so open that we don't know.
An interesting point there, Fabien and Sarah and Darren. I lost audio connection for a while on this call, but again, like Darren, I did a bit of research, and an interesting point is that Vivid Wise Ass and, funnily enough, Bahia Quesno have both got the fastest times in the race. Vivid Wise Ass has a 108.6 record for the kilometre, as does Bahia Quesno, although Fabien did point out last year that was on a different track. But, you know, they say time only matters when you're in jail. But when you look at the analysing any trotting race, we always look at the time. So, you know, Davidson has a 109 record, Billy de Montfort 109, Didier de Pomeroy has a 109 record, but the rest of them only 111 and 110. So on time, Vivid Wise Ass and Bahia Quesno are what we call over here the clock horses. And, you know, you have to take that into account. So if you're analysing any harness race, you should look at the times of the runners, and definitely on time, Vivid Wise Ass would have.
So Vivid Wise Ass, as you say, you mentioned Fabien, but Vivid Wise Ass, a lot of people have billed this horse as a sprinter, a short distance horse. I put sprinter question mark by my notes here, but he's a horse who's capable at the top table. He's a multiple Group 1 winner.
Yes, that's right. In the past, he was trained by Sébastien Garato. Sébastien Garato, the man of Bold Eagle, of Roxane Griff, of Facetime Bourbon. And one day, he told to me, you know what? Vivid Wise Ass maybe is one of the best horses I had in my stable. I said, no, you had body. He said, no, it's incredible. He has a natural talent, a natural speed. He was absolutely under the charm of Vivid Wise Ass. But it was impossible for Sébastien Garato to win a good race with Vivid Wise Ass. So it was like a mystery for him. He said, I don't understand. So get back, bye-bye. And so he did quit the stable of Sébastien Garato, and he won a lot of races in Italy and in Europe on short distance. But it's really interesting horse, and maybe this is the outsider we are looking for.
Well, we've already mentioned tonight how open this year's renewal looks. I think it's time that you guys basically nailed your colours to the mast and gave me your first, second, third and fourth, your 4 horses for this year's Prix d'Amérique. So shall we say ladies first? Shall we go to Sarah Thomas first and ask her for her first, second, third and fourth?
That's really, really kind of you. The one person in this meeting here that has no idea what they're talking about. So we'll start with her. Right. Okay. Well, my selection process is wild, basically. My baby has kicked for 2 horses during the talk. 2 horses getting discussed, and I've been kicked quite viciously, to be honest. So on that basis alone, I've got to put those 2 in. They were Honeck and Vivid Wise As. When you were talking about Vivid Wise As, that I was getting kicked quite a lot. So I've got to put those 2 in. I'm going to stick with Davison DuPont, despite possible concerns over inexperienced driver. I'm going to hope that lesson after the last performance is has sunk in. And then I think because I'm going to play it safe, I have to put Etenant in there as well as the current favourite. So it's just order of finishing positions now. And on that, I'm going to say Davison DuPont, then Honeck, then Etenant, and then Vivid Wise As.
So Davison DuPont go one Bourbon. I reckon we're going to come up with 4 different winners in tonight's broadcast. So, Dan, how about yourself?
As I say, unfortunately, I lost a bit of audio connection earlier in the call, so I missed all the wise words from Sarah and Fabien and yourself. But I suppose I'm going to stick to my guns anyway. The horse that I really he had the choice of 4 or 5 horses to drive, as you know. And I like.
Sorry, Dan. He's co-owner of Fedo 7, so it's not really a choice. He has to drive Fedo 7.
That's interesting. We have a similar rule over here too, so that's good to know. I wasn't aware of that. But as I say, Jean-Michel Bazir, you have to respect him in the bike. And I like the way that Fedo 7 battled in his races. I watched a bit of footage of him racing against a horse called Fairy Wood, and I thought it was a great race. And also, I like the way that Fedo 7 his value at the minute he's about 9 to 1. Fedo 7, that'll probably be my nap to win the race. I think Sarah mentioned him, Guy de Herapre, with Frank Nevard in the bike. That's probably my 4. Fedo 7 from Davison DuPont, from Vivid Wise As, and Guy de Herapre. That'll be my sweat.
Right, thank you, Dan. Well, the Prix de Marique is classed as the legend race. Fabien, you are the legend here, so we want your 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Not at all. Legend before, but not after. I would say Honeck for the youth and for the class and for the next generation to take the power. So the new generation to take the power. So Honeck. Fedo 7 because Jean-Michel Bazir. Jean-Michel Bazir is not the next generation. It's not the past generation. This is the eternity of Vincennes. So Fedo 7 because it will be a driver's race. And so the boss of the drivers in the world, Jean-Michel Bazir, will be there. So Honeck, Fedo 7, Flamme du Goutier, because Flamme du Goutier was so amazing last week, and we have to talk about our trainer with Thierry de Valdestin. He won in 2021 249 races in the year, so it was amazing. This is a record in France, and it was a perfect program for Flamme du Goutier. So Honeck, Fedo 7, and Flamme du Goutier, and of course Vivid Wise As for a good HUD.
Vivid Wise As, right? So that's Honeck. So Honeck for you. So we've got Davison DuPont for Sarah. We've got Dan with Fedo 7. Yourself with Honeck. I'll go for Etenant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Etenant. Here's what I'm not sure if we mentioned this one. What do we know about Cock Style?
No,
not an outsider to put in the mix.
he won the Prix de Bourgogne, the short distance among the qualifiers. But I think it's better for the Prix de France. And the last time it was really, really bad. So he has EVR runs, explained his driver, but it's not a good reason for me.
And
I'm not a big fan of Costal.
What about Gallius?
Gallius is a good question. Gallius, it wasn't the first plan. I was a big fan of the first plan for Séverine Raymond. Séverine Raymond is the first female trainer, French female trainer in the race. In the past, we had some Swedish trainer, but this is the first time a French female trainer as a runner in the race. But his previous plan was to wait next year when Gallius will be more mature and with a lot of experience, more experience in the high level. And finally, he won a qualifier. So it was too difficult to say no to the Prix d'Amérique. I would say we have rendezvous in 2023, I hope, with Gallius.
Okay. Well, Gallius in my 4.
Okay, good. So it's 2022 for you.
Yeah, I'll go for Etienne to win. I'll go for Davidson Dupont, Gallius, and I'm going to put Cockstyle in to get in the money. Yeah. and of course, after the Prix d'Amérique, in the next few weeks, you've got the Prix de France and the Prix de Paris, 2 totally different races.
This is 3 Ultimates now. This is a new name of the big races during the winter meeting in Paris, in Vincennes. So the Prix de France, it will be really important because for the Prix de France, all the doors will be open. So we hope a huge party, a really good atmosphere, the atmosphere of the Prix d'Amérique, but during the Prix de France. And I have a scoop for you.
Oh, go on. You like this? We like this.
Facetime Bourbon will be there for the Prix de France. He will open the défilé. He will be the star of the day, and all his fans could be saying thank you, merci in French, merci champion. I said he wasn't really popular because it wasn't the star on the newspaper or general press, but for the trotting fans, of course, he's a huge champion, and he will be there to open the défilé, to be. We can say that? Open the défilé? Open the parade of the day, and he will be there to say bye-bye to everybody.
Oh, that's excellent news. Now, Sunday, it's a great supporting card. And I've been reading about the Sulky World Cup for the 4-year-olds and the 5-year-olds.
It's a big it's a new thing this year. This is new races. There are new races on the card to imagine a World Cup day with the elders and the youth. And this is a really good information about Onek, because it was possible for Onek to run the Sulky World Cup 5-year-old. And Philippe Allaire decided to run the Prix d'Amérique to win it.
Wow. Well, we're all looking forward to a vintage renewal, an open renewal of the Prix d'Amérique. I guess it's been a busy week for you, Fabien.
Oh dear, yes, it was really a busy week and busy weekend, and the week after maybe too. But it's okay. It's a pleasure. We are really privileged to live our passion like that, and to give a lot of information every day to our reader who have the same passion than us.
And will Catherine be going to Vincennes?
I'm not sure. She's not so far. Are you going to Vincennes?
No, she's not going to Vincennes.
No.
Right.
Sorry, if I could ask
No Vincennes for me, I'm afraid.
Vincennes is not Royal Ascot, definitely.
It's not.
if I can
She prefers Royal
Darren,
Ascot.
do you know which TV channels are covering the race on Sunday?
In French?
Well, in England, I suppose, in Britain.
Well, no, in England, I don't think. Well, I don't know if Sky are going to show the race or not, but they won't be showing it in as much extended coverage as they did last year, because I think they have 2 domestic jumps meetings on. So
Right.
So you might have to click on letro.com and get the free coverage of the races on there, I'm afraid to say.
Letro Live is probably the best bet
Yeah.
for people in Ireland or Britain watching the race, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I've really enjoyed this. It's been enlightening. Thank you, Catherine.
Nice to see you briefly. And well, get yourself to the Prix de France or the Prix de Paris.
Yeah, it'd be some effort though. I've got to get over my hernia first. But no, listen, guys, it's been really enjoyable. As I say, it's amazing, you know, the difference 12 months make. Last year, we were all on Facetime Bourbon. We've got 4 different selections for this year's renewal. But thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Fabien, for making this possible tonight. It's been really enjoyable.
Thank you, friends.
And let's enjoy a superb horse race.